Hey everyone, and welcome. For the longest time, AI has felt like this fascinating experiment, right? Something happening in a lab. Well, that era, it's over. We are officially in the age of production. This technology has broken out of the lab and is being rolled out at a scale and speed that's literally reshaping entire industries. So today, we're going to dive into this brand new reality, AI's big leap from pilot project to production power. And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, look at this number. $37 billion. That is the projected spending by companies on generative AI in 2025. That's a threefold increase in just 1 year. You know, this isn't pocket change for experiments anymore. This is AI becoming a fundamental pillar of the global economy.
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to follow the money in what we're calling the Enterprise AI Gold Rush. Then, we'll look at who is building the new rules for this new world. After that, we'll connect it all to AI in your daily life. And finally, we'll take a quick peek at the tech under the hood that makes it all run.
Okay, let's jump right in. For years, businesses have been trapped in something called pilot purgatory. You know, endless demos, cool presentations, but nothing actually gets rolled out. Well, that is changing fast, and it's creating a whole new landscape of winners and losers.
And when you look at who's winning this enterprise race, the data tells a really surprising story. According to a 2025 report from Menlo Ventures, the leader in the big business API market, well, it isn't who you probably think it is. It's Anthropic with a commanding 40% share. Now that's a huge signal that big companies are starting to prioritize something beyond just raw performance.
And this partnership right here, it shows us exactly why. The global consulting giant Accenture is training 30,000 of its people on Anthropic's models. And their stated goal? To yank clients directly out of that pilot purgatory and into full-blown production. I mean, this is not a small deal. It's the single largest deployment of Anthropic's coding model ever, and it proves the market is shifting from just chatting with AI to actually building with it.
So why is this one partnership such a big deal? Well, because it basically solves three massive problems all at once. First, it creates the army of skilled workers you need to deploy AI safely and at scale. Second, it zeroes in on software developers, a group where you see those productivity gains almost immediately. And third, its responsible by design approach is like music to the ears of executives who are worried about risk and regulation, especially in fields like finance and healthcare.
But, and this is a big but, don't count out the other giants. Right now, there are two completely different stories playing out. On one hand, you've got outlets like The Atlantic saying OpenAI is in trouble, that they're distracted and falling behind Google's super impressive Gemini 3 model. But OpenAI is fighting back, and fighting back hard. They just hired a top enterprise leader from Slack and are reportedly fast-tracking a new model, GPT 5.2, specifically to boost reasoning and reliability. Believe me, this race is far from over. Okay, so with this absolute explosion in AI deployment, there's this urgent, growing need for some guardrails. The entire industry is starting to realize that without some common standards and new ways to think about security, things could get really messy really fast.
And the stakes are just getting higher and higher because we're moving into the era of agentic AI. Now, this is a really critical concept to grasp. We're going beyond AI as just an assistant that answers your questions. We're moving to AI as a system of action that can autonomously get stuff done for you. So think of it this way. It's an AI that doesn't just suggest a travel plan, it actually goes and books the flights and the hotel for you. See the difference?
To manage this incredible new power, all the biggest names in tech, we're talking Google, Microsoft, AWS, Anthropic, they've all come together under the Linux Foundation to create the Agentic AI Foundation. Their whole goal is to create a common language for these AI agents so they can work together safely and we can avoid the kind of chaotic browser wars we all remember from the early days of the internet.
And this need for new rules isn't just about getting things to play nice together. It's a massive security issue. I mean, just look at this quote. It's staggering. Over 80% of the new security risks that come with AI apps are completely invisible to the security tools most companies are using today. That is a gigantic blind spot.
Of course, the rulemaking isn't just happening inside the tech companies. Governments are now stepping in. Big time. The European Union, for example, is now investigating Google's AI. They're asking some really tough questions, like is it fair to train these models on content from publishers and creators without paying them, and what does that do to the entire digital economy?
So we've talked big money, big strategy, big regulations, but what does any of this actually mean for us? Let's bring it back down to earth and see where these AI trends are actually popping up in our daily lives.
Take healthcare. It's a fascinating case study because it turns out bigger isn't always better. The latest research is showing that for a lot of hospital tasks, these smaller, more specialized AI models that can run right there on a local computer are actually the better choice. They do a better job protecting patient privacy, they outperform the giant cloud models on specific jobs, and they can even avoid some of the safety risks, like suggesting overtreatment, that we've seen in bigger models.
Now, over in the government sector, the name of the game is security and control. Google's Gemini just got picked for a massive rollout at the US Department of Defense. We're talking 3 million people. But here's the thing. This isn't about some sci-fi battlefield robot. No, it's about modernizing all the administrative grunt work, summarizing policy manuals, creating compliance checklists, all while making sure that sensitive data stays completely secure and under their control.
And they're not just winging it. There's actually a really clear step-by-step blueprint for how to do this responsibly. The core idea is just to start smart, build on clean data, pick the low-risk but high-impact jobs first, and this is the crucial part, always keep a human in the loop. This deliberate approach is really becoming the global standard for AI in the public sector.
And what about the tech we actually wear? After that infamous stumble with Google Glass years ago, Meta has quietly snuck into the lead with its Ray-Ban smart glasses. But Google is gearing up for a major comeback in 2026. They're partnering with huge brands like Warby Parker and Samsung to launch a whole new generation of AI glasses for things like real-time translation and navigation. It's setting up a massive showdown for what might be the next big computing interface.
All right, for our last section, let's just take a quick peek under the hood at the actual technology that's making all of this stuff possible. Because it's not just one type of AI, it's this incredibly diverse ecosystem of different tools built for very different jobs.
And what's really cool is that the innovation is happening on two totally different tracks at the same time. On one side, you've got the open and accessible stuff, small, powerful open source models that any developer can download and run themselves for specific tasks like coding. And on the other side, you have these highly specialized commercial tools that are just pushing the boundaries of what's possible, like creating these hyper-realistic, emotional voices for movies or games. It's that mix of open access and specialized genius that's driving the whole field forward.
So, to wrap it all up, the big takeaway is this. AI is not an experiment anymore. It's being woven directly into the core architecture of our biggest companies and institutions. We've officially moved past simple chatbots and into the world of powerful agents that can take action for us. This new reality, well, it isn't coming soon. It's already here.
And that leaves us with one final and really crucial question. For years, we've all been amazed by what AI can do. But as it gets more and more powerful and more integrated into our world, the most important question is changing. It's becoming about governance, ethics, and control. It's no longer what can AI do. It's who gets to write the rules for what it should do. And that's the challenge that's going to define the next decade. Thanks for joining me for this breakdown.